Hello, everybody, and welcome to the debut show of Wyatt's Hour. And just to give you a little bit of feedback on a little bit of background of what Wyatt's Hour is going to be for the summer, it is a 1 hour. It's a 1 hour show per week, and we talk about the biggest sports news and entertainment news of the week. So I hope everybody's having a good day. My name is Wyatt, and this summer you're going to be having very enjoyable episodes. Today's episode is going to be on the NBA Finals. Going to be talking about the NBA Finals. Going to be talking about the biggest NFL trade of the past couple of years and my thoughts on that. We'll also be talking about the two movies that are doing the best right now, and going to be ending it off on the World Cup. So thank you guys for tuning in. And now be on with our first music break. It's going to be a little music break. We're going to get you in, guys. Get you guys settled in. And once we come back, we'll be talking about the NBA Finals. And welcome back to Wyatt Tower. You are listening on Hawk Radio. This is HC Hawk Radio, and this is Wyatt's Hour. And now outside today, we are having some great weather, and so now let's go into our first segment, which we will be talking about the NBA Finals. As you guys may have known, that the NBA is currently having their finals, and the New York Knicks are 2-0 in the series right now, which everybody across social media, across the world, is excited for the New York Knicks because this will be the first time that if they win the championship, it'll be their first time winning a championship in 53 years. That's a long time that they've won an NBA Finals championship. Now, as you guys have probably been watching, the games have been really entertaining. As a couple days ago, the Knicks actually won their second game, 105 to 104, as Jalen Brunson shot a last second shot to win the game. And everybody going in they were thinking that the Knicks are going to be the underdogs. But the Knicks are showing that they can step up the par and they can play with the big guys as the Spurs. And with the Spurs, if they do make a comeback and if they do win the finals, they will become the first team to ever win from a 2-0 deficit. And let's just say it's going to be an entertaining finals matchup, probably the most entertaining that we've watched in a while. As tonight is game 3, and everybody is going to be watching because you got the president in the house, you got so many celebrities coming in, and they're really wanting to just enjoy the game, and they're just really wanting to enjoy the Knicks making history. And with the Spurs, I want to talk a little bit about the Spurs. In game 1, it came as a shock as the Knicks stole game 1 in San Antonio, 105 to 95, on June 3rd after a massive fourth quarter comeback. And a lot of people were thinking that, or at least I've seen a lot of people were thinking that the Spurs were going to easily blow these guys out because you have Victor Wembanyama, you have Stephon Castle, Deontay Fox. The Spurs have a lot of people and a lot of players who can really change the game, and the Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in the semifinals, which came as a huge shock as the Thunder were the defending champions. And so I think it's going to be a really enjoy, like, it's going to be, the game's going to be really enjoying. I'm going to really enjoy watching the finals and watching to see who wins. If I had to give my opinion, I probably think the Knicks have it. I feel like if they're 2-0, if they've shown that they can play with the best of them. They can be up there. They can show that we're not just some underdogs. It's not a fluke. And they've had like 12-game winning streak, which is unheard of. Like it's surprising to me that a team like the Knicks has not been beaten for 12 games in the playoffs. And your top performers for the Knicks so far is Karl-Anthony Towns. He had 21 points and 13 rebounds in Game 2. He was named Player of the Game. Victor Wembanyama had a game-high 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 blocks during Game 2. And also Jalen Brunson had 20 points, but he did have a rough night as he went 7 for 25 in shooting. Which, I mean, as long as you're winning, it doesn't really matter. But for Jalen Brunson, for a guy like him, he really wants to make sure that he plays his best. He's on the best level that he can be. And for a little bit of historical facts, as I mentioned earlier, if the Spurs win, they'll be the first team to go from a 2-0 deficit. But for the road sweep history, by winning games 1 and 2 on the road, the Knicks became only the third team in NBA history to win the first 2 games on the finals on the road, joining the 1993 Chicago Bulls and the 1995 Houston Rockets. In the history of the NBA, no team has ever lost the first 2 games of the finals at home and railed to win the championship. The Game 2 win actually extended the Knicks' historic postseason winning streak to 13 consecutive games. That's my fault. And so tonight you can tune in. I think it's on ABC. They are in Madison Square Garden. So they are in New York tonight, which is why you have all these celebrities coming out, watching the show, watching the game courtside. And then Game 4 will be on Wednesday, June 10th, again at Madison Square Garden. And if it's necessary, because if the Knicks win these next 2 games, they win the finals. To be 4-0, they win the finals. But if the Spurs win the next 2 games, or 1 out of the 2, it'll go to Game 5. And Game 5 will be on Saturday, June 13th, back in San Antonio. So that is all for the NBA Finals section of Wyatt's Hour on the debut episode. When we come back, we will be talking about the NFL and the blockbuster trade that happened just 1 week ago. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back to Wyatt Tower on HC Hawk Radio. And when we went to our break, we got done talking about the NBA Finals. Now, for this segment, we'll be talking about the NFL blockbuster trade that happened. And exactly 1 week ago, the deal was officially finalized and announced 1 week ago, and it completely shattered the summer NFL schedule, the summer NFL news. And now you're probably wondering what trade shocked the NFL world. Well, if you're an NFL fan, you know that Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns has been a cornerstone of that Browns defense for years. He has been so dominant. Last season, he broke the single season sacks record of 22.5, and he had 23 sacks. He is only 30 years old, so if he wanted to, he could have 5, 6, 7 more years left in his career. And the Browns decided they wanted to go younger. They wanted to trade him to the Los Angeles Rams. Now think about that for a second. The Rams, the team in recent years has been really successful. They traded for Matthew Stafford. They drafted Puka Nakuda. They signed Devontae Adams. They have a really good team over there. And now you add Myles Garrett to that great defense that they have. Makes the Rams unstoppable. And from the way that I look at it, the Rams are in win now mode. They're trying to win a Super Bowl now instead of having to wait 5 years until they have a great team. Then they go to the Super Bowl. Rams don't want to waste any time. So the Rams traded a 2027 first round pick, a 2028 second round pick, and a 2029 third round pick, and 25-year-old defensive end Jared Verse. Now, with Jared Verse, he was a great player for the Rams when he was on that defense. And him getting traded to the Browns really makes you think that the Browns are actually in a rebuild mode. They're wanting to get rid of expensive contracts. They're wanting to make sure that they have enough money to sign all their young guys. They're going young. And at 25 years old, with the special moments that Jared Verse had last season, it is without a doubt that he could be, within 5 years, be on the same level as Myles Garrett. Now, the reason why this is shocking the NFL world is because nobody had ever thought that Myles Garrett was going to get traded to the Rams. They always thought, oh, he would get traded to another low-level team. But everybody is also, there's been some rumors, this isn't confirmed, but a Rams legend, Aaron Donald, who is a defensive tackle who was with the Rams for 10 years, is actually thinking about coming out of retirement. Now, he hasn't said it out publicly, but he has made some hints on social media that he's getting ready, he's working out, that he's probably coming back for one more season. If Aaron Donald comes back for one more season for the Rams, you can almost guarantee the Rams for the 2027 Super Bowl. But what's interesting about the trade, especially for Myles Garrett, he is the reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He has logged 125 career sacks. Now, adding a guy of that caliber to the Rams defense is great. They traded for the same defensive position as Jared Verse, but they're going for a more experienced, because the Rams, like I said, are in win now mode. They don't want to wait for a couple years and then win. They want to win now while they have Matthew Stafford at the helm. And he is 38, so he's getting old. So you're thinking that Matthew Stafford's going to retire within the next year or two. So if you're the Rams, you're going to want to win the Super Bowl now. And for Jared Verse, he is a young edge rusher. He was the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2024 and has made the Pro Bowl in both of his first 2 NFL seasons, racking up 12 sacks and 80 total pressures for the Rams last season. Now, just hearing that alone is actually really good for the Browns, because he doesn't produce the same as Myles Garrett, but as a young guy, as 25, he is doing better than most defensive players in the NFL right now. And he's only 25, but you got to think, will they have enough money to sign him to a big contract? Because as you guys have probably seen, the defensive market is out of control. I mean, you got guys getting paid $50 million a year to play for defensive end. So if you're the Browns, do you really have enough money for Jared Verse? But I also want to talk about the cornerback, or he's on the defense. He's the CB for the Cleveland Browns. Denzel Ward actually made a comment about the trade. It was surrounded by media following the loss of their franchise anchor. Ward told reporters, "It's Ohio against the world." and has instantly become the rallying cry for young Browns locker room navigating a massive transition. Now, after hearing what Denzel Ward said, that it's Ohio against the world, it really has people excited for the Browns. It gives them hype that the Browns haven't had for years, ever since Baker Mayfield was there. But with their quarterback room, they're not really sure who's going to be the starting quarterback. You got Deshaun Watson coming back from injury. You got Shedeur Sanders, who, in my opinion, should be the starter. It's going to be really interesting offseason. It's going to be a really interesting summer to see what the Browns do and see who's going to be who's going to be the leader, who's going to be taking the Browns hopefully to the playoffs. Because in the NFC North, you got you got the Bengals, who are just now starting to build up. Their defense is still not there. You got the Ravens, who just lost their head coach for the longest time. They have a new head coach, have a new system. The Steelers have a new system, have a new defensive coordinator. So if you're the Browns, you want to take advantage of other teams trying to build their defense and really take advantage of that. And I think if the Browns do, with the right coaching, with the right plays, and with the right system, I truly believe that the Browns could be a dark horse Super Bowl, not dark horse playoff contender. With the Rams, it's no question the success that they're going to have. It's going to be really special to see if a team like the Rams could really win the Super Bowl. But you got teams like the Eagles, you got other teams in the NFC conference that will really make you have a run for your money. So, but that's all for the NFL aspect. That's my opinion. That's what's going on. So, will Myles Garrett help the Rams win a Super Bowl, or will this be another bad decision that the Rams make that will cost them in the future? Well, we're going to be going to a music break. When we come back, we will be talking about the entertainment aspect, as there's a couple movies in theaters that are doing really well, and we'll be talking more about them. And welcome back, everybody, to Wyatt's Hour. You are listening on HC Hawk Radio, and today the temperature outside, it is really enjoyable today. It's a little hot, but it's the summer. So our next segment will be our first entertainment aspect of the show, which will be talking about movies. There's an incredible phenomenon happening in cinema right now. Independent horror movies created by young independent YouTube creators are completely blowing multi-million-dollar Hollywood studios out of the water. And you've probably seen these two movies when you've gone to the theaters. But we have Obsession, which is it was directed by a 26-year-old YouTube creator, Curry Barker, in his feature debut. Now, what is so important about Obsession? Everybody's talking about it, and the budget versus how much money they've made ratio is completely insane. So for Obsession, Curry Barker only had $750,000 budgets. Okay, when you think of a movie budget that's under $1 million, you instantly think, oh, it's not going to do well, or oh, what low budget things did they do? But Curry Barker, he has history on YouTube. He has some short films that he's made on TikTok. He's done skits, so he really knows how to get your attention. And they have made, as of right now, they've made $224.7 million, making it the highest grossing film in the history of Focus Features, which is completely insane, making over $200 million off of a movie that had under $1 million budget. Completely insane. I don't know how he did it, but he did. And the actors in the movie, now, have I gone to see it yet? No, but I want to. But it sounds really interesting, and it's about, if you don't know what the movie is about, it's about a man who does a one wish willow, and he wishes for a girl named Nikki to fall in love with him. And it turns out that she is obsessed with him, but she's not really herself. She's more like a spiritual being, trying, and is obsessed with him so much so that she'll do anything to please him. And he realizes that he doesn't want the wish. He keeps wishing for, I want this to go away. He doesn't want it anymore. But from what I've, it looks like it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest seeing it, because I've seen a lot of great feedback behind it. And they actually did a record. So over this past weekend, June 5th to the 7th, it brought in $25.6 million domestically, recording the biggest fourth weekend ever for a horror film in the box office history. It even slides past the Blair Witch Project, $24.3 million in 1999. So it's been roughly 27 years. 27 years later, you have Obsession, who now overtakes the Blair Witch Project for the most money made on a weekend for the box office. And it really tells you how much hype is behind this, how much everybody just loves this film. So that is the first film that I wanted to talk about, because it is becoming more and more that the audience doesn't want the same old safe option for horror films. They want to see something new. They want to see something that is unheard of. So that's exactly what this next movie did. The next movie I'm going to be talking about was by A24. It was directed by a 20-year-old YouTube phenomenon, Kane Parsons. In his feature-length directorial debut, based on his viral internet creepypasta videos. If you haven't realized already, it is The Backrooms. Now, The Backrooms has been a topic that I have really enjoyed for a long time. And it is a great way. This is more a niche. It's a very niche film for a very specific audience. But this type of film, this type of genre can easily pull people in to really enjoy it. If you don't know what The Backrooms is, it's basically an area in the creepypasta world where if you no clip from reality, you can fall somewhere and then you're instantly in this area where it's just you. It's you, and sometimes there's entities in these certain levels. The Backrooms, there is so much information that you can find on The Backrooms. It is insane about how much information there is. There's so many levels to The Backrooms. They have so many levels, and you're basically there, and some levels are safe. You go around, you enjoy the scenery, but you have to escape that room, and other rooms are very dangerous for you, and you could potentially get lost and never be seen again in The Backrooms. But it's a really interesting creepypasta, and it's really good about how much depth there is in this story, and about how over time it's evolved, and I like how it's being turned into a movie because everybody loves. From what I've seen, everybody loves the movie, but the ending they don't like because it seems like they could have done a lot more. But here's some facts about the Backrooms. The Backrooms movie. It released on May 29th. It had a historic opening weekend of $81.5 million domestically, making its biggest opening weekend in A24 Studios history. It completely shattered records, making Parsons the youngest filmmaker to ever reach number one at the American box office. And now here's the status of the film. As of today, it has reached the $200 million mark. And it is, as of right now, $212.7 million. Now, for those two movies, the reason why they're so special and the reason why I'm talking about them is because we haven't seen a we haven't seen a surge like this. We haven't seen of momentum behind a new genre, a new way of making movies in a very long time. And now you see YouTubers who are just seen as, oh, you just make videos, you're whatever. Now they are stepping into using their creativity to make movies, and there will be more movies being made by both Curry Barker and Kane Parsons. As I've heard that Kane Parsons is making a Backrooms 2 movie, and Curry Barker is going to be making more movies for A24. It's going to be really interesting to see if they can replicate the amount of success that they had with their first films, with their second, third, fourth, and so on. So I think you'll see a more resurgence of more YouTubers stepping into the film aspect of things and really making making movies for theaters. Now, before we end this segment, I wanted to talk a little bit about another movie that came out this weekend, and it is called Scary Movie. Now, it is the sixth installment of the series, and it's not for everybody. If you want to have a good time, you want to have a couple hours to laugh and to laugh at the jokes, Scary Movie is for you. Now, I've seen some comments online about it. Not everybody likes it because some of the jokes that they were trying to say aren't really what the current generation would laugh at. But it's doing pretty well successfully, as it's drawn in $55 million domestically, and it took the number one spot at the box office this weekend. So you have three movies fighting for the number one spot: Scary Movie 6, Backrooms, and now Obsession. So we'll see if any more movies this summer will take the number one spots. And this actually marked the return of the Wayans brothers, Marlon, Sean, Keenan, and Craig, to the franchise. And I've heard that them as a group will be making more movies. So be on the lookout for that. So that is all for the entertainment aspect of this week's episode. When we come back from a music break, we will be talking about the World Cup and what the theme of this show for the summer will be, which will be the World Cup. So enjoy this music break, and we will be right back. And welcome back, everybody, from the music break, as you are listening to Wyatt's Hour on HC Hawk Radio. Now, our next segment is going to be really important, as for the entire summer, the main theme of Wyatt's Hour will be covering the World Cup. Now, the World Cup is going to be really popular, and everybody's going to be really interested to hear it, to watch it, because It'll be in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And for the World Cup, its opening day will be this Thursday, June 11th. And we're going to talk about a little bit about the historical aspects of why this year's World Cup is so important, as this is the single biggest World Cup ever. For the first time in history, the tournament features 48 teams playing 104 total matches across 3 co-host nations, the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Now, there'll be 2 matches on opening day on Thursday. One, we already know what the matchup will be, as the co-host Mexico will take on South Africa at the legendary, and I might butcher this a little bit, Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. And the second match will be Canada making their debut at BMO Field in Toronto against an opponent to be decided in the opening group stage matches. Now, as of right now, we don't know who Canada's going to be facing, but I'm sure within the next day or two, we'll be seeing who Canada will be facing. And on Friday, June 12th, Team USA plays its opening match at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Now, everybody's really is going to be really excited about the World Cup, and as you know, here at Wyatt's Hour, we're going to be supporting Team USA. But I'm also interested to see who you guys are going to be voting for. Who do you guys think is going to win the World Cup this year? As I think Team USA has a really good chance to win. I also think that Portugal also has a good chance to win as well. And so, a couple things you need to know about the World Cup is FIFA is blending international soccer with a massive pop music festival. So on Wednesday, June 10th, there'll be an LA countdown concert holding down the fort at the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles. Pop superstar Ava Max is co-headlining alongside electronic music heavyweights Major Lazer and Nigerian Afrobeats icon Devato, I think is how you say his name. It'll be a multi-genre concert, and it'll be hyping up the World Cup, getting people excited about what the summer has what the summer has planned. And then on June 11th, the opening day, performing live in front of over 80,000 fans. Shakira, I think her name is, will be opening up that day with Burna Boy. They will perform the official FIFA World Cup anthem, "Die Die," live for the very first time. As this is a new song that they're making, and it's gonna be a really cool to see how everything's gonna play out. So for the whole summer, for the whole duration of this show, we will be talking about the World Cup, and we will be bringing you updates on who's winning, who's losing, anything breaking happening. So that is all for the FIFA World Cup for now. We will head to another music break, and after this music break, we'll be talking about the college baseball World Series. So stay tuned. And welcome everybody back once again with Wyatt's Hour. And for our last segment of the day, we are ending on the College Baseball World Series. Now, for the College Baseball World Series, the Super Nationals wrapped up over the weekend, officially setting the field of 8 teams for the 2026 Men's College World Series. The official College World Series starts this Friday, June 12th, 2026, and it will run through June 21st. The number 5 national seed North Carolina Tar Heels punched their ticket to the World Series in dramatic fashion yesterday evening. They beat the USC Trojans 4-3 in a winner-take-all Game 3 match. Now, here's a little bit of historical context behind it. This marks North Carolina's 13th trip to the College World Series in program history, highlighting how hard it is to win at this level. Now, this is a big age of priority. Over the last 3 seasons, 24 different slots have opened up in Omaha, and UNC is the only program in the entire country to make it there twice in that span. So, and for the College Baseball World Series, it is really interesting to see as that's wrapping up this year, as North Carolina Tar Heels have been really dominating the past couple of years, and they have punched their ticket in, and we will see how well we will see who else will join them. And so I want to talk about a little bit about how the game went. And so they were down 3-1. They were down 3-1 in the 8th. Now you're down to your final 2 outs in the 9th, and the guy on the team, his name is Owen, who had been mirrored in a brutal super regional matchup, decides to blast a walk-off double off the wall to save the season. Now, this will be why June college baseball is some of the most electric television on earth, because you have moments like this where you're in the 9th inning, you're down by 2, you really need to get a score to win. You really need to have that moment. And Owen does it for the North Carolina Tar Heels. They win at 4-3, and it's just really entertaining to see that North Carolina had made it in. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how it's going to be. And like I said before, June is going to be a great month for sports, as you got the NBA Finals, you got the World Cup, you got the College Baseball World Series. And I want to talk about a little bit more on a little bit about the games here, as you're down to, it happened this past weekend. Like I said, North Carolina beat USC, and so we'll be seeing who else will win, as you have Auburn and Ole Miss still in the running, Troy and Little Rock. You got West Virginia and California. So you have other teams vying for a spot. And if I had to make my choice of who I think will be in the College Baseball World Series, I think it'll go down to Auburn versus North Carolina Tar Heels. But that is all for the College Baseball World Series right now. It's a little short, but I just wanted to give a little bit of insight on the college baseball aspect of things, as it really is. It's nobody really talks about it that much, so it's great to bring some insights onto that. We're going into a quick music break, and when we come back, I will be talking about the fun fact of the day, and we're just going to be recapping on what we talked about and what to look forward to next week. So we'll be back right after this. All right, and welcome back, everybody, towards the ending of Wyatt's Hour. We got a couple minutes left of the show here. And so to recap today's episode, we talked about the NBA Finals and my thoughts on it. We talked about the blockbuster trade of the NFL. We talked about some of the movies that are out and my opinions and why they're so popular. We also spoke about the World Cup and how this show for the summer will be based around the World Cup and a little bit about the College Baseball World Series. I said before that it was a round of 8, it it turns out some of the matches had happened already. So next week I'll tell you guys who's in the College Baseball World Series. But so our fun fact of the day is today is National it's today is World Oceans Day. And a little bit about World Oceans Day is so today's World Oceans Day. So if you're going to the beach or whatever, just enjoy the oceans. This is a little fun fact for you guys. So next week, hopefully, next week we'll be talking about the NBA Finals. If they've concluded, we'll talk about my thoughts on who I thought should have won. We will be talking about the NBA Finals next week. We'll be talking about some of the games that happened with the World Cup, the College Baseball World Series, and we'll be talking a little bit about professional wrestling and bringing eyes onto professional wrestling and giving you guys some other sports to try and watch this summer, as the whole point of this show is to bring eyes onto the product and hope in giving you guys the perfect sports to watch so that you have a great summer. So thank you all for tuning in, and I really appreciate it. So we will see you guys back here next week for episode 2 of Wyatt's Hour. Have a good day.